Hi, it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another video edition of Widower Wednesday. I'm Abel, author of the book Dating a Widower, and today we're going to discuss paying the price of a new life and where that line should be drawn. When do you stop paying the price of a new life, and what are some healthy boundaries that one should set in regards to activities and hobbies that one is engaged in before they meet their new partner, the new significant other. And the idea from this comes from an email I received from a viewer, and I'm sharing this email with permission, and this is how it goes. They write, Abel, I agree, relationships need to be reevaluated, and you shouldn't expect the new spouses to plunge into the deceased position socially or family-wise. However, when it comes to hobbies and passions, where does requesting to start a new life end? For example, if the widower enjoys working out or running, and that's something they shared with their deceased partner, doesn't mean I'm not allowed to continue with those activities or share them with my new love. If Julie asked you not to write a book because your late wife Krista enjoyed writing, would you do it? Is that part of the price you have to pay for a new life? So, great questions, and when you do couple sessions with me, let me just start on a high-level overview. There's 7 areas I have couples focus on before they're deciding, is this something we're serious about? Is this worth getting serious with someone, whether it's marriage or whatever, some long-term relationship? There's 7 areas I talk about, but one of the areas is recreational activities and hobbies. And so questions I encourage couples to ask themselves are things like, what kind of activities do you enjoy in your free time? I think most of you can, think of activities you enjoy. So for me, running and writing are probably my big ones. I have other interests as well, but those are probably the 2 big ones in my life. Then I have couples ask themselves, are these things that you like to do alone, or do you prefer to have someone to enjoy them with you? So again, in my case, writing is a solitary activity. I prefer nobody to be around while I'm doing it. I just need to, focus and concentrate. With running, I can do it alone. I can do it with someone. There's lots of ways it can go. I don't really care. But, I think the more important question is you identify what it is that you enjoy and you're passionate about. But then would you want anyone you get serious with to enjoy these same activities or support them in you, or support your participation in them? So that's I think maybe where some of the friction comes in is what are your passions? And I think that's the issue here, is that the viewer is asking, well, it sounds like he runs and works out a lot, and that's something he enjoyed with the late wife. So I'm assuming that the person he's dating or the person he's fallen in love with here is saying, I don't want you to do that because you and the late wife did it. So really, I guess what I would come back to is, what is the real objection here? I don't have enough information to say, well, you should give up running or give up working out for this relationship, but it comes really down to, what is the real objection of you participating in this? Is it because you're spending so much time doing it? So like with anything, with running, writing, fill in the blank, whatever your passion is, people can overdo it and they can spend a lot of time doing it to the point where it's detrimental to a relationship, right? I could spend 6 hours a day writing and probably get tons of books done, but that would be at a detriment to my marriage with Julie and my relationship with my kids. So, I can't write 6 hours a day. Is it because, like again, going back to the question, so is it because you're spending so much time working out? Is it because you're doing things that honor the late wife? So are you working out in order to run, let's say, like a charity run or something like that? Or, for example, are you hanging out, maybe you're going to the gym, but it's a gym where all of her friends and family go to, where you guys had this group or something like that. So I think I would just drill down more and say, what is the real objection to this? Because I think if your objection is just because it's something that you and the late wife participated in, and that's the sole objection, I don't know if that's really enough to actually give it up. But if it's, again, time consuming, where it's interfering with the relationship, I think you can ask somebody to spend less time on it. And I think if you're participating in events or doing things that honor the late wife, I think it's fair to kind of say, you can work out or do things, but I prefer you not to participate in these events. But simply because it's something that you and the late wife enjoyed, I don't know if that's necessarily a fair comparison. Again, running is something I enjoy very much. I'm very passionate about it. If Julie were to die, and I hope she doesn't, but if she were to pass away, I would probably keep running until I was physically unable to do so. And if I was going to get in a new relationship, I think I would expect the person to know that running, yes, it's something that Julie and I bonded over when we were dating and something we still enjoy doing as a couple, but running for me is more of a lifestyle issue right now. It's not necessarily I'm running and reliving when Julie and I were dating. It's just more of, this is my mental health moment I'm going through, and just, it wakes my mind up, it gets me going for the day. It has really nothing to do with Julie, and more just to be, this is my lifestyle. So, if I was dating someone or got into another relationship, if Julie were to die, I wouldn't give up running, but I think it would be fair for that person to, just to say, well, that's fine, you can run, but I don't want you running in events that support a cause related to late life, like cancer or something. Or, you know, again, I think it's a fair ask that I not spend so much time on it that it's detracting from my relationship with that person. So I think that's a fair thing. I wouldn't necessarily expect that person to run with me or to do it. I would encourage it. If they wanted to do it, I would love to go running with them. But if they weren't interested in it, that's fine. I'm sure they have something else that they can do with that time. So again, I think it's just drilling down and figuring out what the real objection is. Now, the writer did give a question. So as writing, like if Julie asked me to give up writing, because that was something Krista and I both enjoyed, would I do it? Now, the answer is, I guess I wouldn't give up writing. I guess let me give you a real world example here. So with my first book, Room for Two, which you can see here, I just didn't start writing it. I actually talked to Julie about it because I knew I was going to be writing a little bit about my marriage to Krista, about how Julie and I met and things like that. And I did think it was a fair request that if I was going to spend my time writing, that it should be something that Julie was okay with. I probably wouldn't have gone for her permission if I was writing like a mystery novel or something like that, but this is a very personal story, and I felt if I was going to spend time doing this, that I did need to clear it with Julie. And so we did talk about it, and even though Julie knew it was probably going to be a kind of an emotionally difficult thing to write, she ultimately supported it because she really wanted our children, or I think we only had one kid at the time, or two kids, but you know, she wanted our children, however many we had, to kind of know our story and know how we came to meet, and that they have a half sister and that Dad was married before. She felt that that was important for them to know, and this was kind of a good way to get the story out. She honestly didn't care if the book ever got published or anything, but she thought it was at least on the kind of a family history thing, it was a good thing. But if she had come to me, and if we had discussed this, and she had said, look, I love the fact that you're writing, but I really don't want you writing about Krista or things like this of a personal nature, or at least not to the sense where we're publishing them, I think that was a fair, yes, it would have been a little bit difficult to swallow, but I would have honored her request and just focused my writing attention elsewhere. So again, you know, I love running, I love writing. Am I going to give those up? No, but I think there are healthy boundaries that someone can set around that, so you're not spending too much time doing it, or again, involved in activities that would detract from your relationship. So again, unhealthy boundary, I think, is to ask someone if they're passionate about it, is to give it up, right? I think an unhealthy boundary for Julie would have been to say, give up writing. But I think a healthy boundary, again, if Julie had said, would be right, but I prefer you stick to fiction or to other things, and not things that are going to bring out memories and stuff of the past. Now, again, if this is an issue, and it's not just hobbies and things, if there's issues like this, I think again it's important to get at the really core of the matter here, and I think that's what I would encourage this person to do. Again, talk to your significant other here and ask them really, what is the objection here? What is it that you find objectionable about me working out, for example? Again, get to the heart of the matter, and I think from there you can decide whether they're making a fair request or an unhealthy request. So again, I'm Abel, author of the book Dating a Widower. Feel free to read any of these books. If you want to learn more about me and Julie, or how to successfully date a widower, feel free to like this video, subscribe. If you want to schedule a coaching session, there is a link down in the description below where you can do that as well. And I will see you all next Wednesday.